From This Corner with John Ball is brought to you by KNEO 91.7 FM, The Word.
Good morning, I'm John Ball. This is From This Corner, and boy, I hope you're having a great day. It's cooling off a little bit early in the morning, cooling off at night, and we thought with everything going on in Neosho, we bring Jeff Higgins in. Jeff is the campus pastor for Adult Teen and Adult Challenge, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, I got it right there after a while, didn't I?
You did.
Jeff, thank you so much for spending a little time with us.
Thank you.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about the history of Teen Challenge,
sure.
And then we'll go right into the banquet and what's going on there, because there's some good things going on.
Sure. Teen Challenge goes way back, over 60 years, 1958. In February 1958, a young preacher by the name of Dave Wilkerson from Pennsylvania, reading through Time magazine, saw a picture of gang members in New York City that were on trial for the murder of a teenager, and felt really called by God to go to New York City and tell those gang members about Jesus. He went to New York City, walked into the courtroom, and was escorted right back out of the courtroom. And he felt like he failed miserably. And lo and behold, God used that, though, to let the gang members in New York City realize if the cops don't like this guy, he must be on our side. And though and through discouragement, he kept going back to New York City weekend after weekend and just walking the streets. And little by little, not meaning to start a program at all, he ended up realizing the drug issues and the homelessness and the violence, and decided to open up a home for these young people to come into, and Teen Challenge was given birth.
Now, this is the same guy that wrote The Cross and the Switchblade.
Yes, the same guy.
Story about Nicky Cruz, who was himself a gang member.
Yes. And so from that first initial start in 1958, it has spread throughout the country and around the world. So today it's the largest, most successful program in the world.
Now, we have been fortunate to have Adult and Teen Challenge here in Neosho for how many years?
We've been in this area for about 25 years now.
About 25 years, and we have how many available beds for clients to come in?
We house 20 men here. There are a few centers in Missouri, some for men, some for adolescents, and some for women and women with children.
Okay. And now, is there a fee for this?
There is a one-time fee of $1,000, and that's for the entire year. Compared to most programs that might cost $15,000, $20,000 a month per person easily, we have $1,000 per person for the whole year.
And your clients actually work to pay for their keep, don't they?
Yes, they do. They're in classes for about half of the day, then they work for half the day, doing various jobs in the community.
Okay, and before too long, they're going to start cutting wood. And hey, if you need to buy some wood, you get a hold of the people at Teen Challenge, and they will put you on the list, because there is a long list.
Absolutely. We've already been cutting woods, getting it all prepared. Yeah, we go through a lot of wood in the winter time. If you happen to call in for wood, just be patient with us, because we are cutting it, splitting it, getting prepared, and they can either pick it up or we can deliver it to their house and stack it up for them too.
Okay, now let's go through a day in the life of a client at Adult and Teen Challenge.
Sure.
What happens? Okay,
well, it's already been going now for a while. They get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and by 6:30 they're downstairs having their morning devotions. 6:50 they have breakfast, and by 7:30 they're all getting ready for their day, getting dressed, showered, and so on. And at 7:45 they start classes, and from 7:45 up until lunch they're in various classes. Both classes where they work at their own personal cubicle, personal studies, and then they go to group studies classes where it's just a classroom setting where the teacher teaching them, and then they have lunch. After lunch, they go to their various work assignments, whether it's lawn care, splitting wood, helping people move, you name it, we've done it, we'll do it. That takes us up till dinner time, about 5 o'clock, and then they have dinner. And then after dinner, there's one of a few different things they do. They either go to a church service in one of the areas here, whether men's group or just a prayer group they have, or they've got study time. in the evening. And that takes up until about 8:30, of which time they're getting ready for bed, and they're in their rooms by 9:30 doing nightly devotions, and then lights out at 10.
Okay, now you have a men's choir that goes about and sings at different places for a love offering. You got an idea about what that schedule looks like?
I do. I'm also the choir director, so I get to be hands-on with them all the time. We're out most Sundays in that activity. This year we've been out, so it'll be about 14, 15 weeks in a row that we've been out right now. We're out about 40 times a year. And we've got services coming up this Sunday. Then the 23rd we'll have actually off because of our banquet, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. And then on the 30th and then into November and December. So we're quite busy there. We usually stay within an hour and a half or so from the center here.
Now, this is not one of those programs where you don't see any relatives for the first 30 days, 60 days, whatever. Once you get here, you don't see anybody until you graduate a year later, right?
Right. The first 2 weeks they're here is the hardest time. In the first 2 weeks, they don't receive mail, nor do they get visits or phone calls in the first 2 weeks. They need that 2 weeks just to really settle in. Sometimes it takes them 2 weeks to realize where I'm at, who I am, getting adjusted to things. After those 2 weeks up, they can receive mail and they can get phone calls. And then after the first month, they begin to get visits from their families, which would be the first and third Saturdays of the month. And then that can continue on to the program. But there's always something to look forward to. They can have a visit after their first month. After their fourth month being in the program, they can begin to have off-grounds visits with their families. And then as they progress through the program, in their 7th month, they get a 3-day pass. And in their 10th month, they get a 7-day pass home. And, of course, graduation at the end of 12 months.
Okay, now you guys have been very active with the Neosho Area Chamber of Commerce. You bring back the bloom, you water the flowers up around the square and in the baskets and things like that. You cut wood, you mow yards and things like that. But that's not all, right?
Oh my goodness, no. If people need move, we'll help people move from house to house, or sometimes storage unit to house or house to storage unit. We help fix fences. We help cut down tree, you name it, and we do any kind of job. If you've got something that you want done, give us a contact, and we'll be honest if we can or can't. But most things, we've got someone that can handle the jobs.
And in as far as getting paid, you pay people with a donation because Teen Challenge is also 501c3, right?
Right. And different jobs are different. Some jobs we charge per the project. Some are given by how many students per hour. We'll charge that rate. And that depends upon job to job.
Okay. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the banquet that's coming up, because that is a big time for Neosho and surrounding area.
Yeah, that's our biggest event of the year. Like every organization seems to have their big event, and that's our big event. October 22nd, that is. And we're going to have an auction there. It's a live auction, a silent auction as well. Various businesses throughout Missouri area will donate things, whether it's certificates or actual physical objects that we auction off, and that's always a good time. At the banquet, the cost of the banquet really is nothing. We do have people that sponsor tables for that, so that people can come and just enjoy the evening. We have Light for the Lost, which is the men's group with the Assemblies of God. They come in and prepare steaks for the dinner. The choir will also be there presenting songs, and we present our vision of what we look forward to doing in the center, as well as what we have done in the past. And it's just a really good evening as a fundraiser for us.
Okay, and that's going to be at the Civic in Neosho?
That's going to be at the Civic in Neosho.
Okay, and what time does it start?
At 5:30 on the 22nd of October.
Okay, and there will be a program, as you said. There will be some singing, probably some testimonies along the way.
Yes.
Of people that have been very successful as they've gone through Teen Challenge. But here's another thing that I know. Just because you failed the first time doesn't mean you can't go back, right? Right.
Yeah, there are some people that have gone through the program or have quit the program and realized that was the dumbest mistake I've ever done. And so they call us up and they can come back into the program, and we call that a restoration time. If they've graduated, maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, they can come back from a restoration for a 4-month period, just to basically get themselves back where they know where they need to be.
Okay, well, we would love for people to come as individuals, but we'd love for them to buy a table in support of Adult and Teen Challenge.
Absolutely. If you'd like to sponsor a table, it's a table of 8 people. It's $250 to sponsor that table. If you do plan on attending, even just as an individual, it's important to call in so we can get tickets to you, even though they're free. We need to know how many people are actually coming so we can know where to place your seating. So when you do come, it's a lot quicker process to get in and be sat down.
Okay, well, if we have a message that we want to give to people out there right now, that message is, hey, you may be down on your luck.
Yep.
You may have done some things that's caused your life to turn, and you're in a rut. Read something this last week that in Alaska there's 2 seasons. There's winter and July.
Yes.
And in July there's big ruts, and people say be careful what rut you get into because you're going to be in it for the next 60 miles. Yeah. That's not that way with Teen Challenge. You can get out of that rut. You can turn your life around. There are people there that care about you, want to help you, want to take care of you not only physically but spiritually as well. So what number do they call?
Sure. Call 417-451-2980. And please don't feel like that rut is hopeless, because we want to be the tow truck in a sense of getting you out. People come to us literally from homeless to great jobs, or at least they had, to prison, you name it, the background. So do not feel like you are the worst of the worst of the worst, because we've seen them all, and we want to help anybody who wants to get help at all.
And don't think just because you live in the Neosho and surrounding area, there's not a place for you too.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've had people from many states that have been here. The majority are from Missouri and these 4 states here. But yeah, you could be just literally down the street, and we'd like to welcome you. Some people say, well, the farther you get away, the better it is. What I have witnessed is it's a matter of the heart. If you really, really want to change, you'll change if the place is next door. If you don't want to change, you can go on the other side of the world and you won't change.
Okay, Jeff, thank you so much for coming by and visiting with us about Teen Challenge, about the banquet that's coming up, and the many, many different things that go on at Teen Challenge.
Well, thank you for having me, John. Thank you very much.
You bet.
From This Corner with John Ball has been brought to you by KNEO 91.7 FM, The Word. You can watch this episode and many previous episodes of From This Corner on our YouTube channel, linked to our website at www.kneo.org.